When you find out you're pregnant, sometimes it's hard to know where to start in getting prepared. There's something huge about to happen. You're going to become a parent. And also you have to give birth to this baby and you're not quite sure how to wrap your head around it. Well, this video today is about the 3 things that you can do to prepare yourself for birth in particular. I'm Cara Lee I'm a birth doula and a childbirth educator, and let's get started talking about 3 things you can do to get yourself ready for birth and labor. So let's start with the first and most obvious thing, and it seems obvious, but it's really important, and this is to reduce your fear around labor and birth. And one way to do this is to educate yourself. And this will reduce your fear in anticipation, but it also will reduce your fear in your labor and birth experience. Because often people who didn't even feel afraid while they were pregnant, if they haven't done preparation work, when they get into their birth experience and things come up and they have decisions to make in the birth space, then they start to feel afraid and they start to feel worried, and that is just counterproductive in the sense of having a healthy labor progression. The more scared you feel, the more nervous you feel, the less your labor progresses. So the best thing you can do is educate yourself ahead of time and prepare yourself. And sometimes the decisions you make in the very beginning of your labor experience set the tone for your entire labor and birth experience. So knowing what you're getting into and educating yourself is the best way to prepare. And there are so many different ways that you can do this. Read books, take a childbirth education class. And of course, there's childbirth education classes in your community. I have online childbirth education classes. There are other online childbirth education classes. I truly do this work because I believe so strongly in the importance of helping people prepare to give birth. And I believe so strongly that this is our first step in parenthood, is how we birth our babies, whether in power and in strength and courage, or fear and worry and just doing what we're told. And so whether you're taking my online classes or you're doing this elsewhere, please take a childbirth education classes and read and prepare. The second thing you can do to prepare yourself for labor is to practice labor coping strategies. Don't just learn about labor coping strategies, practice them. Learn a labor coping strategy, because even if you're planning to use an epidural or other pharmacological pain relief, because sometimes you don't have time to get an epidural and you still have to work through your labor, and sometimes the epidural doesn't work as effectively as you'd like it to, or it works unevenly, and that's more common than you'd like to think. So it's always important to go into your labor with some labor coping strategies. Ones I teach in my birth course include meditations and visualizations. These include position changes, and an understanding of the physiology of labor. We use ice to practice labor coping. And then other ways that I consider labor coping strategies and preparing to cope with the physical sensations of labor include things like exercising regularly. I, of course, love prenatal yoga. I'm biased. I teach prenatal yoga. But this is a way of moving mindfully and noticing the way different positions change sensation in your body, which is what you're going to want to do in labor. Another thing, you could be exercising. You could be working with a personal trainer. If you already lift weights, keep lifting weights, but mindfully notice how it changes in your body. If you're a runner, keep running as long as it feels good, and notice how it changes as your body changes. This kind of mindful connection and mindful movement is absolutely coping and preparing to cope for labor. The third thing to do to prepare for your labor and birth experience is to build your birth team. And this is honestly so important, and people don't put as much work into this as I think they should. So having labor support includes not just your birth partner, if you're going to have your birth partner present, somebody in your life, whether it's your co-parent or your romantic partner or somebody in your life who's going to support you. This may also include a birth doula, a professional labor support person. I'm a birth doula, I'm biased, but your medical care provider matters, and you should be looking at who you've selected to help you have your baby with as critical an eye as you would anybody you hire in your life to do a service for you. Now, I love and respect medical care providers, and we hire them for a reason. We hire them for their expertise. We hire them for their knowledge, but we're, as a birthing person, the boss of the birth room. You, as a birthing person, are the boss of your birth room. So you have hired your medical care provider to offer their expertise and knowledge, and you take that knowledge and you take that educated opinion and you apply it in your situation with your values, your perspectives, and your own knowledge of your own situation, and you make final decisions based on that. And we talk a lot about this in my online birth course, this way this dynamic works. But building your birth team is so essential and will have a huge impact on your birth experience. So look into birth doulas in your local community. Think about your birth partner and help them learn strategies to help you through labor. Nobody is born knowing how to do this, and your birth partner, particularly if they've been socialized as a man, as a male, have no idea how to be in a birth space. So take a class together. Again, I have an online birth course. There are birth classes in your community. There are other online birth courses, but do something together so that your birth team is solid and they are there for you, and it will have a huge impact on your birth. And this isn't work you can do last minute. You have to build your birth team as earlier in your pregnancy, and really, if you're going to change providers, sometimes you have to change medical care providers by a certain week, usually 30-ish weeks, 35 weeks. It depends on the care provider and honestly how busy they are. And the more popular medical care providers don't take people as late in their pregnancy as other people do. So the 3 things that you can do to prepare for your labor and birth experience is to educate yourself and reduce fear of the unknown. Even if you're not feeling afraid right now, if you come up against decisions in your labor and birth experience, we don't want these to be the first time you've heard of some of the decisions you might have to make. 2 is practice labor coping strategies. Don't just learn about them. Don't just have it be this theoretical idea, but practice them. That's why we practice them in my online birth course. And the 3rd thing is build your birth team. This includes your labor support people, whether it's a birth doula, birth partner, friend, family member, and your medical care provider team. It is so essential to build a team and a collaborative relationship with your birth team so that you can be the boss of your birth room and have a huge amount of trust in the expertise of the people that you have hired, doctor and your midwife and your birth doula or whomever there to help you have your baby. Thank you for listening. I post a new video every Thursday. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel, and I'd love to see you in some of my other videos. Talk soon.